Hello my little peeps, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Cntrlie or Mel, and today we're actually building another cottage in the world of Henford and Bagley, which came with the Cottage living expansion pack. And this cottage was built on a 40 by 30 lot, costs a little over 70,000 simoleons, and features one bedroom and one bathroom. And I actually was inspired by a picture I found on Pinterest. Sadly, I don't have that anymore, otherwise I would show you that. But yeah, that was kind of like the whole inspiration I had. I knew what type of build I wanted to go for and how the outside should look. The only trouble I really had was to make that work in The Sims. And kind of like get the color scheme together, just because I didn't want to one-to-one copy the picture. I did want to keep my own style and my own build style to it, so that's kind of like the biggest struggle I actually had with the home, just because I do feel like it's a little bit easier to just copy homes from pictures than to come up with the idea, but I do feel like the outcome actually is prettier when you just build and do stuff that you feel look good. And that's something I think about this build as well. I do feel like it looks a lot better than I thought it would, but I did struggle a lot with the color scheme. That was something that made me a little uneasy, because of course, I know myself, I rather give up than stick with something that's pretty difficult for me. But I did stick with this build, and it took me a lot of error to get it to the shape it did at the end. But I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very happy that I did. I do feel like I want to play in this home so bad. So bad, even though I'm not really that much of a Sims player, like gameplay wise. I love building, but I do feel like I don't have the imagination to stick with families. But I do wanna do some Let's Plays on this channel, because I did realize that I love playing The Sims when I can talk to people. I realized that when I actually streamed The Sims to my boyfriend, and he watched with me, or like watched my stream on Discord, and I played my family for like, I don't know, 7 or 8 legacies? No, generations. Yeah, 7 or 8 generations. And I actually never stuck that long with a legacy or with a Sims family, and that's something I wanna try on this channel. I wanna start Let's Plays, and I actually wanna do my own legacy challenge, and I'm still working on it. I started working on it like I think a week ago, and I'm still working on it. I only have like the first generation for now, and even not like finished properly, but that's something I want to do in the future. Now back to the build. I did keep the floor plan in the video because this is such a small home. I do feel like it is a little more, or it's better to keep that in, but it came together again pretty quickly, so we're finished now with that part of the video. And now we're starting with the windows, which was actually another big problem I had, just because I didn't know what colors I wanted to go for. So I even changed that up again. Later I will change them to a white swatch, just because I wanted to go for a like more feminine look, which you will see like in the near future. For now I did stuck with the dark wood swatch, because I did thought about the story behind the build would be that a witch lives here, like with the what's that called? With these spellcasters. That's kind of like the first thought I had, but with the trailer and everything, and fairies and cottages, I did actually decided against that idea. But I do feel like I will upload sometime in the future a build for witches, like really for witches, maybe when it's like fall. That's kind of like something I can imagine myself doing. And yeah, but now this was my inspiration, or the trailer was my inspiration to actually make that a build for a fairy. And again, make it overgrown, just because the fairy that lives here loves plants and wants to research them. That's why she lives in the forest. She probably goes on hikes every day and just picks flowers and plants and brings them home and just tries to research them, and she writes it down in her little own diary. Yeah, and actually I do change the swatch of the flowers, like the ivy that grows on the build. I do change that up to the pink again, because I do love pinks and yellows and greens in The Sims. I mean, in real life, I do actually have a living room that's more the cottage vibe. I have a beige couch, I have a white coffee table, and my cat has like this really cute green and pink small cat tree. It has like a cute little flower that hangs from the top of it. Sadly, she doesn't play with that. The only thing she uses the cat tree for is just to get up on my desk. I mean, I can put a picture of her in the video now, where you can see that she loves to live on my desk. And even now, she actually does lie on the printer I have on my desk. And she kind of like, she's not really watching me, but she just has her eyes closed. She just loves laying here and kind of like be by my side. And yeah, that's just very, very cute to see. I do love my cat so much. And I'm so happy that she decided to finally, feel better. Like, I mean, of course, she didn't decide to feel better, but I'm happy that she feels better and that she decided to lie on my desk, because the days before today, she actually only laid on the floor. She didn't even sleep in bed with us. And I did miss her a lot. I did miss her very much. But yeah, she's doing so much better, and I do feel more at ease now knowing that she's better. So again, back to the build. You see, I did struggle a lot with the chimneys, because I knew I wanted to place down some old looking chimneys, but I didn't know which ones to use. And I did feel like the chimneys weren't as pretty as I wanted them to be, and I did feel like they weren't as good looking, or not good looking, but didn't work for the build that well. But I actually settled on these chimneys from the Get Together expansion pack, and I am very happy with the outcome of them. I do feel like they work the best. The other chimneys didn't work that well. And we actually already started a little bit with the landscaping. I do have to say I changed up the trees with the trees from the Werewolves pack, the pine trees. I did not like the ones from Cottage Living, just because I didn't like the way they felt, and I didn't like the texture of them very much. And with the screenshots I did feel like they just didn't fit. So that's something I changed off camera. I don't have the footage. I forgot to record that. So yeah, I'm sorry, but that's probably the only thing I did change off camera, like the trees, and I forgot to put the spandrel on the back porch and small details like that. And the build is actually fully play tested. Everything works. I did had to change some stuff, but not major things, just like small little furniture pieces that I had to scoot over a little bit because your sim couldn't get around that. Other than that, everything is fully functional. There's no problem. Your sim can cook, your sim can go to the toilet and bathe and everything. So yeah, that's kind of like the only thing I did change up. And now we're actually finished with the color scheme. That is the color scheme I ended up going for. I don't think I will change that up again. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I am not really sure right now, but I do think that is the end result of the color scheme. Yeah, and I do actually put the color scheme in the interior as well. I did use a lot more yellow again. I don't know why, but I actually do enjoy the yellow in The Sims. That's just kind of like something that I mostly gravitate towards when I build cottages. I think. But that's totally fine, in my opinion. I mean, I am very happy with my builds, and I hope you guys are too. Yeah, so the yellow, it just happened. If you don't like it, I'm sorry, but I actually do enjoy that. Yeah, now I decided to place down a... what do you call that? A greenhouse? Yes, a greenhouse. Because I did think about a little fairy living here that actually, I think I said that, researches plants. So yeah, with the seasons expansion pack, plants tend to not grow in specific seasons. So I actually forgot the name again. The greenhouse is actually pretty functional and a pretty big part of gardening in The Sims, just because your plants are not affected by the weather when you plant them in here. And I did actually play tested the greenhouse as well. We do have, I think, 4 normal planters, 2 big planters, and 2 vertical planters. Everything is fully functional. Here is the part where I had to move the planters in the middle, the big planters I put here, just because your sim couldn't walk around the planters. That was kind of like the only problem I did have with the build. But yeah, if you want to put some more of these small little planters in here, you obviously can. You can change up everything if you want to. When you download the build, do everything with it. Yeah, that's just your decision to make. If you don't like the way I did something, change that up. That's totally fine. I mean, I do build for you. And yeah, so if that does not fit your Sims or your vibe, then change that. It's totally fine for me. Yeah, and I also decided to make the greenhouse overgrown as well, because I did feel like that just fits the vibe actually. And yeah, I do feel like I was a little more struggling with the overall, like, not really the landscaping, but like I did want to put more mushrooms down here, and you see I did do that, but I did think about these red mushrooms with the white dots. We don't have them really in game. We only have the stool, or the not really couch. It's like a, not bench. I think you know what I mean from Cottage Living, and I mean you will see what I mean. I did place that down here. These are the only red mushrooms we actually have, and that is, in my opinion, one of the biggest parts of the cottagecore aesthetic, just to put down these red mushrooms. Yeah, but I did manage to figure something out, and yeah, that was actually the first time I did put these stones down. I saw that on in some videos from other Sims 4 creator, and I never actually used them before because I thought that would be a tedious process, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would. I actually didn't took that long to place them down, and I do think that looks a lot better than actually just placing down some terrain paint or normal tiles. Yeah, so that's why I decided to just try that out and place these down. We also have these big garden or planter spots on the ground, and we do have a chicken coop because I thought that the sim that lives here actually just lives off the things they've grown and the animals they have. I did not want to put a cow or a llama down here just because I thought that it didn't really fit the vibe I was going for. But of course, when you play in this build, you can place a llama or a cow, and you can do whatever you want. I decided on some chickens because that's just like, it's just a small little chicken coop, and it does look so pretty. And I do feel like the sim that lives here kind of like sells the stuff they're growing in the garden and the eggs that the chickens lay. Yeah, that's kind of like my cozy little thought about that. And now we're actually moved on to the inside and the kitchen, which is probably one of my favorite rooms in this whole house, with the bedroom. These are one of the most cluttered and unique looking rooms in this house. And I did actually, I mean, I didn't struggle that much cluttering it, just because I felt so inspired and I wanted to make it look pretty, that I stuck with it, and I looked through the whole built and buy menu and found pretty much everything I wanted to find. And even with the kits we have, like with the kitchen clutter kit and the everyday clutter kit, it's just so easy to clutter rooms. That's something I wouldn't have imagined a few years ago, that we would have a kitchen clutter kit, and I'm so thankful that EA decided to do something like that. Yeah, in the kitchen I actually decided to go for a more yellow color scheme as well, and the other stuff I do feel like I changed that up to a little more lighter wood swatch. The stove stays the same, and the refrigerator stays the same, but the archways and the furniture in the living room is going to be a little more lighter. And I do feel like I did a pretty good job making the kitchen look cluttered without making it look chaotic. That's something I struggle a lot with, to clutter stuff but make it feel normal and lived in, and not like a messy is just living here. But I do feel like I got that pretty good. I do feel like that wasn't that hard. And I do left one counter open, the counter directly next to the oven. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I do feel like I mostly just think about words or sentences I want to say in German, and then I don't know the English word for it, so I already struggled with pronouncing stuff and getting the sentence together. Yeah, but like with the kitchen, we're finished now, I think. We have this small little, back area where I have a washer and a dryer, and we do also have a wash tub at the back porch. So if you don't want to play with the washer and dryer, you can delete them, because your sim can also wash their clothes with the tub we have outside. Yeah, and even if you don't want to play with laundry at all, because it can be tedious, of course you can put other stuff there. Maybe, I don't know, like a little nook for coats or something like that, or like a plant nook. You can do that. Yeah, but now we're actually moving on to the living room. I am in love with this. This is kind of like the room I struggled with the most to clutter. I didn't clutter the table, the coffee table, that much, but I do feel like that works. It doesn't feel like homes in these magazines. It does feel like someone lives here just because of the furniture I chose, so it's not that big of a deal. But I do feel like that's something I struggle a lot with, like cluttering dining rooms and living rooms, because we don't have clutter kits for these two rooms, I think. Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, so that's kind of like something that I had a hard time. But everything is fully functional, even the dining table there at the back. It works the way it is placed there. Your sim can walk around the dining room and sit on every chair that is placed. And I do have to say, I'm pretty happy about the swatch I chose, because I did imagine them to look like the red mushrooms. You saw the mushroom in the living room, like the stool that we have. That's what I thought about. Yeah, and kind of like it's more cohesive. We do have a lot more color in here than I typically go for. But yeah, and I do have to thank HannahPet756 for the comment. You told me that I can just use rooms of the gallery where Sims have painted from reference, and that was such a big game changer for me, and I am so thankful. That was probably the best life hack I have ever heard, and it made me so happy. You see, I used a lot of the paintings I found from two of the creators. I will put the names of them down below, so if you would like to use these paintings as well, yeah, just go to their ID and their gallery, and you will find them there. And now we actually moved on to the bedroom. I decided to use the base game bed, which you can unlock with the painter career, I think. You don't normally have that in game. Yeah, but that's probably my favorite bed we have in game. Because I do love the yellow swatch of it. I mean, you probably imagined and already heard I do love yellow. I love yellow. It's just so bright and it makes me so happy. Yeah, and that's kind of like my thing. And I decided to put the, I think you call that grandfather's clock, in the home as well, because it is an old home, and yeah, I do feel like that already also fits the vibe of the overall house. Yeah, so the color scheme actually isn't that hard or that difficult anymore. I did figure out what I wanted to do with this build, and it's just only now it's only like cluttering and furnishing everything. So my sim, or the sim that lives here, actually has the typewriter. They don't have a real computer. I mean, in Sims it doesn't make any difference. The typewriter actually functions like a normal computer. But in real life, of course, that makes a big difference. So I like the realistic aspect of that, just to, yeah, imagine that your sim just types down on a typewriter and kind of like tells their stories about these plants they found on their hike and what they do and what you can do with them. And yeah, I did think about that story a lot, and I felt like it was so cozy. And like I already told you, I feel like I want to play in this house so badly. I want to just plop a sim down here and just play and play and play forever. I am so in love. Yeah, and I only put down some clutter, like the rest and everything, because I did feel like at this point the living room did feel too empty. So yeah, I had the need to just clutter it up a little bit, and yeah, I decided to change the gate at the front. I do think I got rid of that completely, just because I felt like it didn't fit that well. Yeah, and I only put some little stuff in the garden as well, like some mushrooms, the stools, like the red mushroom stools, and just some clutter and decoration, because I just thought the overall garden space looked a little too empty. Yeah, but we don't have that many skill building items in this house, but of course you can put them down. I mean, we have so much open space, so if you would like to have your sim paint in here, you can place down an easel, and that should work totally fine. But I think that's not that big of a problem, because we have lots of space on this lot. And yeah, we only have the bathroom left, I think, to furnish, and that's something I kept in as well, just because this is a small build, and yeah, maybe you like to watch me clutter bathrooms, but I do feel like the video's almost finished. You can find the build on the gallery under my ID, which is Cntrlie, Cntrlie. Yeah, and there you can download the build and play with it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, loved my cottage videos I brought to you. And we'll see us very, very soon. Goodbye, guys.